Welcome to Hey Clarity. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today we're doing a collective reading on the full moon in Leo. So check back in your calendar and your notes for August 4th, 2024. It's the corresponding new moon in Leo, and see what you were cooking up at that time. What were you working on, planning on? What intentions were you setting? There is likely the fruition of that story, the culmination of that story happening at this full moon in Leo. So we'll get into the details from the collective perspective, but it's always fun to check back and see how it speaks to you very specifically. The questions that we're going to ask: what is the energy of this full moon in Leo? What story has unfolded since the new moon on August 4th, 2024? So we'll get the collective perspective. What is being illuminated under this full moon? What has come to fruition? What are we releasing or letting go of? And what's the most important message we need to know? Let's get into it. What is the energy of this full moon in Leo? They just showed like a lion head and it went roar, like in your face. They're like, it's a powerful full moon. There's something about, they're saying like new faces, like they're new faces, new powerful faces around you or in your environment. They're saying many new faces. It could be literal people, likely, they're saying. It could also be the face of opportunities. Many new faces, many new opportunities start to present themselves to you, are presented to you, they're saying, for you. So the energy of this full moon is this, they're saying, roaring of faces. They're also saying that there's this like uproaring. That's probably expected. Anything else? What is the energy of this full moon in Leo? They're like uproaring. Yeah, that's big. And they're like many new faces, many new possibilities, uproaring, roaring. Okay. What story has unfolded since the new moon in Leo on August 4th, 2024? This almost like turnstile, like presented the many places and faces, opportunities and experiences of old, of the past lives, past in this life, this lifetime. But it feels like they're saying a lot of it was almost this parade of figures, experiences that are from actually old past lives, lifetimes ago. And they're saying like karmic cycles. And it's just like this turnstile. It's like one, almost like one after another, like repeat in your face. So the story that has unfolded, they're saying it's old past lives and it's around karmic cycles. Interesting. What about them though? Reflections, they're saying. The opportunities presented to us to explore deep reflection of those old past lives, past parts of us, past experiences, past lifetimes. And it was almost like something like pushing into the foundation, into the earth, into the ground, like really, it's like this interesting, almost like clay, this pushing of a foundation. And they're saying like molded, to be like molded into something new. It feels moldable. It feels like a cement foundation that's still wet. They're saying, like back then, I do remember us having readings. It may have been in the private group readings where we were laying foundations in cement and we were making sure that whatever was in, like anything we didn't want while the cement was still wet, we were like picking it out. That may have been in like one of the December moon readings, but that has come up in the past. So they're saying like at that new moon, it was like the wet cement was like laid down, kind of saying like for the first time of like, oh, like we need to make a new foundation and we're gonna pour the cement for the new foundation. Okay. What is being illuminated for us at this full moon in Leo? What is being illuminated? Our new foundations are hardening. They're drying. And we're looking at them and seeing were there pieces of things, of places, of people that are in that foundation that are hardening in the foundation we don't want them in. They're kind of like, it's a last chance. Like the stuff you don't want in your foundation, if it's nagging at you, like it's going to be very visible. So again, with this symbolism of a concrete foundation, now the concrete has hardened, it's like hardening, and they're saying it's mostly cemented, like this foundation is set, it's almost done setting. And we're looking at this and we're like, wait a minute, there's this, you know, piece of garbage in my foundation. Like I gotta pull that out before it's like cemented in there. So right now it's like doing the work of seeing the things so clearly that we don't want in our foundation, in our new foundation that we've built, in the new foundation that we're building. It's almost like before you build the house, because they're like, let's say, for example, you have this foundation, but then when the cement settled, it like flattened a little bit lower and this huge boulder or rock started to show. And it's like this mound that is disrupting the surface, the flat surface of your foundation. And then you're like, oh no, like what am I gonna do with that huge mound? And I like can't really build anything on top of it. That's funny that the light just went out. I can't really build anything on top of it because it's not going to be sturdy because the foundation isn't flat. The surface isn't clean, smooth. So we're going to be witnessing and observing kind of like some of the extra junk or garbage that's not allowing us to have this smooth foundation. We want this smooth foundation moving forward. They're saying Aquarian age. Aquarian age, like we want these solid foundations. We need them. The people, the place, the opportunities. We want to have the things that we really want and need and desire nearby, in our vicinity, in our environment. We want them around. So they're like, is it movement that you need? Get on it. Get on it, they're saying. But also things might be moving to you. Like if it's not movement, the people might be coming to you soon. So it's being illuminated is like maybe the junk that is starting to solidify, these last chances to get them out. And they're saying you can get them out with just like a choice of perspective, of just like the decision that you no longer want this thing in your mindset. You don't want this thing in your daily experience. It can be a choice. It might not be like quite the effort of like the removal of you or something from something. It could just be, hey, this perspective I have in these experiences really no longer serves me. And so I have to decide, like, cut it out. Like, I'm going to stop thinking like that. I have to stop doing that thing. So it could be that. What has come to fruition from the new moon in Leo to the full moon in Leo? What has come to fruition for us? They're saying choices, decision-making, like powerful decision-making. We're feeling more confident in our choices. We're making better choices. We may have had experiences that have forced us to make better choices. And they're kind of like pat yourself in the back for making better choices and thank the experiences. Maybe they were tragic, they're saying tragic evidence. There may be tragic evidence of the reason why you had to make those choices, but likely they are better choices for you. You've made better choices. So there's a lot of keep patting your back, like you made better choices, like you're making better decisions, like this is good, like good for you, good on you, and celebrate. So this experience has come to fruition, and they're like, celebrate your achievements and your accomplishments around making better choices and getting better at decision making. What are we releasing or letting go of? What are we releasing or letting go of under the full moon in Leo? I just feel quieter. There's something about silence and quiet and solitude. We are releasing, they're kind of saying, the silence of your voice. And then I get the little, my throat chakra. The silence of your voice. The ways that you can communicate are like open. They've opened up. All the different ways that you can release and let go and get things out and express yourself. You've maybe found hobbies or leisure activities or enjoyment or artistic endeavors that have allowed you to express yourself, use your voice. So we're releasing silence, but I also feel like they're saying like the fluffiness, like the extra, the falsehoods, the superficial in our voices is like shaken off. And like we're left with voices of truth. There's something about like those with integrity. Those with integrity, our voices are very clear. They're very strong and very powerful. Our words have an impact. And it feels like those who are not operating, using their voice from a place of truth and integrity are spiraling down. They're like outward. It's almost like there's this momentum like this, and it's just like falling all over the place. Like clay on a wheel when you're making ceramics. It's like, so there's a lot about voice and expression. And they're like not to be silenced. However, those who are not coming from a place of truth and integrity, they're not in alignment with the heart field. They're not heart-centered. And so they're just making a mess, but they're so obvious. it's like everyone can see through the liars. Everyone can see through the fakers. Everyone can see through the bullshit. It is impossible not to see through each other. And so those who come from a place of integrity, they're kind of saying it's like, this is your time to shine, because there are so many voices. They're like, you're a voice of reason. And there's so many voices that are just, they're saying voices of destruction. There's a clear path to move forward for those who live and speak in truth and integrity. There is a clear path forward. And it kind of feels like for those who aren't, they're like sputtering out. And a little bit of like losing their minds, like losing touch with reality. But it's obvious. It's to be seen. It's to be heard. And I'm seeing like a crowd of people standing in front of someone who is spewing falsehoods. And this whole crowd just walks away mid-sentence. Just like, this person has no idea what they're talking about. And they just walk away. Like, this person's like, how rude. It's like, no, like, you're full of shit. So nobody wants to listen to you anymore. Like, not to be seen, not to be heard. They are not to be seen, not to be heard. This is a time of, they're saying, the uproaring, the truth and the integrity, the heart-centered, right? And they're like the lion, the strength of a lion, Leo. And they're referencing the strength card in tarot, and they're showing even the little infinity loop, these karmic cycles. And it's like those who have reflected on these karmic cycles, these old past lives, are standing more in their truth and integrity and have a clear path forward. And those who are perpetuating these karmic cycles are spiraling down, spiraling out, and sputtering out. They're saying there's like bipolar split. There's a split that's happening. Going in that direction. Some of us are going in that direction. Up and forward. And they're like, a bunch of people are going down and backward. And they're like, you choose. Like, you choose who you're going to be. What's the most important message we need to know about the full moon in Leo? What's the most important message we need to know about the full moon in Leo? They're saying the uproaring, the roaring. And it doesn't feel like chaos and noise. It feels like going from silence and observing, silence and observation, to sharing voices to be seen and heard from this place of truth and integrity. They're like, there's a, progression where it might look like we're getting worse, they're saying. Like, they're like politically, like societal observations might look like things are getting worse. But they're saying like those who have been in preparation, on the ready to go, like this is your time to shine. Like this is the time that works for you. Because in the face of something so blatantly untrue, wrong, false, you stand out, you shine. Your voice can be heard because it's very different than the bullshit that's being spouted. And so they're like, take your time, if it's uncomfortable, but it almost feels like when the time comes to show yourself, to step up and to be seen and to be heard in whatever area it is in your life for that moment, it's going to feel natural. It's going to feel automatic. You're not going to be nervous. You're just going to, there's like an overflowing strength and confidence and courage. It's authentic, so it's easy. It's so pure-hearted. It's so heart-centered. You're coming from such a place of truth and integrity that when the time comes for you to speak up and be heard, to stand out and be seen, it's going to be automatic. So don't worry. Don't feel pressure to like do anything. Don't feel pressure to like, you know, share your voice until it's like ready. Like it's going to happen basically in a very natural way on its own. Okay? Cool. They're saying time to be seen, time to be heard. Like truth and integrity, core values, belief systems around truth and integrity. Cool. I like that. So that was the Akashic Records on the full moon in Leo. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what story was unfolding for you since the corresponding new moon. Kind of curious. I looked in my notes on this one and found it was interesting. It's really interesting. Yeah, great. Well, good luck with everything that's going on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.